Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is former Pennsylvania State Constable Stephen Wiggs of the 16th Ward, Allentown, Pennsylvania. And I'm coming to you guys this evening simply to reason. I just want to reason. I just want to let some things out. There's a few talking points that I'm going to hit on as I get out what's necessary. And I just think I just need to let some things off my chest, because the pressure is it's a heavy weight to carry, and I just want the people to know and understand what plagues my mind in terms of what happened to me. I come into work and my current job, no one needs to know what that is. And I, on breaks, see guys in uniform, a similar uniform that I was maliciously stripped from. You know, I did nothing wrong to get my uniform maliciously stripped from me, other than stand up for myself. As I'm talking to my partner on my job, you know, I'm kind of venting to my partner, and I'm telling my partner, as I'm looking at these officers from this police department, you know, in the capacity that I served in law enforcement, now understand that there are quite a few people in law enforcement that really don't care about protecting the public. There's a lot of people that do not care about protecting the public at all, wearing the badge. Now, there's multiple videos on these subjects that clearly identifies what I'm saying. But to actually be in the uniform, a law enforcement officer's uniform, and have the hatred come my way simply because I want to honor my oath. It's like I'm not going out there seeking guys that are misusing their authority. It just simply came my way because I was using the authority of my agency lawfully to be what I was supposed to be to the people. And the characters came out toward me anyway. Not just from neighboring law enforcement agencies, but the judicial system itself. So I'm like, if the judicial system is not going to analyze all the facts and be unbiased, I mean, Lady Justice in the judicial system here in Pennsylvania is not blind, because the judicial system here in Pennsylvania uses Lady Justice the way they want to use Lady Justice. There is no tipping the scale. They're controlling the scale. In my experience in court, I watched how a judge was willing to try and bend the rules to the judge's liking because he liked the agency more than the other. And my lawyer did not allow him to do it. So it's like, if you don't have a lawyer to make the judicial system honor the law and keep that scale balanced, then they will tip the scale the way they want to, and you will just have to deal with it. A lot of men are in jail right now because they don't have no legal fees, no money. It's not that everyone is guilty, it's that they don't have no real representation. Like, this is understand, in my New Jersey case, I'm going to tell you something that was not put on the books for the people to know. Okay? I was offered PTI, pretrial intervention. For those that don't know what pretrial intervention is, it's a second chance program, which is probation, but at the end, the charges go away. They don't offer that unless the crime, they don't offer that on a normal day unless the crime committed isn't that serious. Well, I have a gun charge. I have a person impersonating charge. I had 3 magazines, 17 round magazines that was fully loaded. But yet and still, pretrial intervention was being exercised to be entertained. Now, I couldn't take that, and nor was I trying to, because I was not admitting guilt. To take PTI is to take a guilty plea of some sort. I did not plead guilty. I pled a conditional plea. I'm guilty for carrying a gun into New Jersey. I'm not guilty for having it in New Jersey because I was a law enforcement official during the time. So I was not going to take PTI if I could have. But because I had it already, I could not get it a second time. And the reason why I had it already was because some years ago, when I was a bail enforcement agent, aka bounty hunter from out of New Jersey, I had got a speeding ticket heading to track a fugitive, and during this time I didn't know that the school systems of which I came through shut down. So there was no one to verify my credentials in operation because the New Jersey State Troopers had taken over the program. So I did not know that there was no one on the record to vouch for my credentials that I had received. But before I knew that, I went to court and I presented my credentials. So what I had to present to New Jersey was evidence that I went through the training, and I did. I presented my diplomacy from the program. And at that point, because New Jersey don't like to just let things go, even though you show them proof of things, they offered me PTI, pre-trial intervention. So, what was the charge? The charge was exhibiting false documents. And so I took the PTI because I had a public defender and New Jersey wasn't going to let this thing go. So after my 7-month probation period, the charges went away. The charge went away. So I could not take PTI again. I could not get PTI again if I wanted to. But this time around, I was in fact a law enforcement officer from a real law enforcement system out of Pennsylvania, and still got done dirty by New Jersey, and still got done dirty by New Jersey. I I see the posts, I see them about guys talking that mess about MOPEC, the Municipal Police Officers Training System in Pennsylvania. Nobody said the constable is MOPEC certified. Although there are constables that are MOPEC certified, coming from a career of being a municipal police officer, and then they became constables, but the constable system itself is not certified through that system. The constable has its own system. I've spoken about this already, and I've shown the laws that identify constables as police officers regardless of going through the MOPEC certification. So therefore, people coming on my channel, commenting and talking about you're not a police officer because you're not MOPEC certified, that argument is extremely weak. Extremely weak, because it's not the law for constables here in Pennsylvania. It's not the law. It's the law for municipal police officers. But you want to know what's also the law for municipal police officers? What's also the law is that municipal police officers under 12005 of the General Assembly lawmakers, okay, for police officers, you're called ex officio constables, meaning that your powers are derived from the position of constable. That is a law here in Pennsylvania. So when these guys want to talk that, oh, you're not a police officer because you're not MOPEC certified, guess what? If you don't want to respect the idea of statute saying constables are police officers, then we're going to respect the statute that says you, as a municipal police officer, can't have the authority you have without your authority being derived from the position of constable. So guess what? In hindsight, you are a goddamn constable if you become a municipal police officer. Yes. Go research the law yourself. The first part of that literature, the first part of the law, will throw out the idea of what you are as a municipal police officer coming into your agency. What are you? You are an ex officio constable. You are under the umbrella of the constabulary. And guess what? The Pennsylvania State Troopers are as well. The same literature applies to the Pennsylvania State Troopers. The same literature applies to the Pennsylvania State Troopers. But they have a different coding or number coming from the General Assembly that says exactly the same thing for them. But the Pennsylvania State Troopers actually got more of a stance with the Pennsylvania State Constabulary, because the Pennsylvania State Troopers are directly derived from the office of constable. the Pennsylvania State Troopers are of the Pennsylvania State Constabulary. That's their history. That's the history. This is the literature that's there. It's all over their history. That's why when you look up in Google the words Pennsylvania State Constabulary, a bunch of pictures from the Pennsylvania State Police is what comes up. Because the Pennsylvania State Police are still under the Pennsylvania State Constabulary till this day. Nothing in their history has separated them from the Pennsylvania State Constabulary. Nothing. They just got words added on to them. Pennsylvania State Police, you are a part of the Pennsylvania State Constabulary. So I just wish that you guys just stop harassing your fellow brethren the way you do. The way you harass me. Troopers, that's not even an official position. That's just something you threw on yourself. It's amazing stuff going on here. But I'm the one singled out. I'm the one that got singled out. Because I was attacked and stood up for myself. These people used their platform, they used their position to force me out of my agency. They used the Essex County Sheriff's Office in New Jersey to attack me. And the sheriffs bowed down and joined them, the Pennsylvania State Troopers. They joined the Pennsylvania State Troopers in attacking me by setting me up, helping them set me up, and then ignoring blatant evidence that I gave them to state my claim. And they just ignored them. Like, these people are crooked people. Crooked people inside these agencies. I mean, it's hard to determine which one is genuinely good. Because I'll tell you this, the troopers that I faced, they showed me that they were genuinely corrupt. Genuinely corrupt people. And then these just the court systems in Lehigh County and Essex County showed me that they were genuinely corrupt as well. Genuinely. In the beginning of my case in New Jersey, I had a public defender. I only had a public defender because I had to explain what a constable was in Pennsylvania. So I'm like, well, if I got to explain that to a lawyer anyway, I mean, I might as well just say, hey, you know. But then, now understand, the public defender did what he had to do. He did his job. He gave a great brief that my lawyer now actually signed off on and said everything that was presented in the public defender's brief was good, was solid information. We couldn't understand why the judge did not throw the case out. We could not understand, after the judge seeing all the information, why didn't the judge throw the case out? All I could think about was the judge was bought off by the system of Pennsylvania, just like the Essex County Sheriff's Department was bought off. You know, they didn't care for the constable office we don't have a big stance in terms of credibility, because constables in Pennsylvania destroyed our credibility by lying about who the hell we were for over 20 years. It's just lying. And I had to take the hit. I mean, I enjoyed serving the people with what I did. You know, I get people don't really like cops, and for good reason. You know, as a law enforcement officer, I stood with the officers that did the right thing. As a retired, well, not retired, as a former law enforcement officer, wrongfully kicked out by my judicial system, wrongfully charged and convicted. Man, these are hard pills to swallow. You know, a lot of people really don't pay attention to the facts. They don't want to. They want to just run off with the narrative that was spewed off on me, because it would seem they're just playing favorites. Everybody wants to be buddy-buddy with the troopers, municipal police officers. You should hear them. I got a lot of people that see me in uniform when I was in a uniform, and they want to tell me how much they know all these other agencies, officers from these other agencies, how good friends they were with these other agencies. Everybody wants to tell me how good of a support system they are of police officers, troopers, and stuff like that. We support law enforcement, and that's all well and good. You know, but what did it really show me? It showed me that, you know, they don't know nothing about the constable office at all, and they don't know any of the good that the constables do, because a lot of the constables don't want the credibility for doing what they do. The reality is, for me, because of the fact that the constables are non-existent to the communities surrounding them, I started to promote what it was that my partners and I did for the community. Only because we needed to change the face of the agency, that people are not used to seeing. Well, they're not used to seeing constables man traffic scenes and protecting people from hazardous issues on the road, or stopping people from being harmed or hurt by another. You know, they're not used to constables doing anything like that in Pennsylvania. But that's what we are charged with doing. Now, today, my colleagues and a few others, my old colleagues, look at me as an analyst, while I'm a former constable. I'll take that. I play a significant role even though I'm no longer the constable. I see that my expertise throughout my short run with the agency, I've garnered enough credibility for guys to call upon me for aid with education. And they're not wrong for doing so, because I've stood against an agency that a lot of people look at as the big bad wolf, which is the Pennsylvania State Troopers. And I showed those troopers that they weren't as big and bad as a lot of people made them out to be. Because the reality is, the big agency that a lot of people don't know is the big agency is the Pennsylvania State Constable Office. Why? The troopers come from the Constable Office. They call the constables the best kept secret in law enforcement. Yeah, the constable is a secret because the people in it keep the powers a secret. And the other part of that secret is the Pennsylvania State Troopers are still under the umbrella of the Pennsylvania State Constabulary. There is no law that came about for the troopers that separated them from the Pennsylvania State Constabulary. They just got a different title, the Pennsylvania State Police. But the Pennsylvania State Police title, because the laws never separated them from the Pennsylvania State Constabulary, no one has. They're still under the umbrella, and their powers are still derived from the position of constable. That's in the law. So they are still, till this day, by default, constables serving in Pennsylvania. Yes, I said it. The now analyst of the constabulary here in Pennsylvania. Troopers in Pennsylvania are still under the Pennsylvania State Constabulary. There's no law separating them from us, as their existence, their beginning from 1905 till today, there is no law separating them from the Pennsylvania State Constabulary. None. But I'm the one hated, though. I'm hated. Why am I hated? Because I dropped this knowledge. That's why I'm hated. Man. This is deep. That's enough, guys. I've taken up too much of your time. I greatly appreciate you sticking with me. I appreciate those that did subscribe to the channel to hear what former Pennsylvania State Constable Stephen Wiggs had to say and educate the masses. I'm deeply grateful for you guys sticking with me. Till next time, you guys be good. Peace.